We are live and on the air on both YouTube and Twitch. So welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. It is Tuesday morning. It is dreary and rainy outside here, but we are here mainly to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. If you have any of those, you can jump over to foolishtechshow.com. We'll be more than happy to talk directly to you. Otherwise, we'll spend our time just talking shop about random things. So you can also participate in that by joining our IRC, and we'll be more than happy to take it in any direction you want there. So all of our opinions are of our own, not of the company, so just keep that in mind. And yeah, here we go. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. My weather's kind of bad
Good
here
morning.
too, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's a rainy day here.
Looks like the whole East Coast is getting it. Um,
We need it.
that's true, we do. Hopefully it'll put out some of those fires in the mountains.
I hope so. That's one place I don't like to see on fire.
No, that's a bad spot.
So, I just there's one news story which caught my attention this morning. Just wanted to mention it. So there's going to be a hash database for extremist content for YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Microsoft and all that. How well is that going to work? Do you think, based upon previous?
I think it's better than what they've been trying to do with using AI to judge it.
Well, AI. I mean,
Are you going to post a link about that, or are you just
yeah,
going to talk?
I'm going to post the link. But I mean, the
Like
specific
AI
a
to
hash. I mean, so that means all somebody would have to do is change one word in a statement, and it would,
it's not, they're not doing statements, they're doing images and videos. They're
um,
IDs of images and videos. Maybe they're doing statements too. You could do hashes for those, but I would
so
think it would be
okay,
less
yeah,
effective.
images and videos. Okay, so okay, I guess I misread that. All right, I guess that would work just fine. But I mean, there's also that issue of embedding the messages within images. I forget what's the name of that. Um,
Histography or something.
stenography, yeah. Um, um, but anyway, that adding something like that to an image could, create a lot of variability. And I'm sure if systems like that, were put in place, wouldn't it just be kind of like the antivirus virus guys going back and forth then,
Yeah, it pretty much will be. But I mean, all they have to do is edit the video. All they have to do is edit the photo, and it's a entirely new hash. So what I think what's important about this is that lots of big companies are teaming together to do this. It's not just one of them is going after it. From when they're like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and Twitter are all going to be sharing the same database.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of companies working together.
Yeah. So I think that's the more important part is that they're forming together to fight it versus our splintered antivirus field right now.
Well,
Like
thank you for bringing that up. That I wasn't getting that from my initial perusal of it.
it
So
would be really nice if the antivirus did the same thing. Think about that.
yeah. Imagine if
You
all of
wouldn't
them
have
got
to
together.
you wouldn't have to scan with 5 different antivirus to make sure that everything's clean
Hmm.
because they would all have the same list.
Yeah, that's I guess one instance where a monopoly might be almost desirable, but can it be, without, that's the thing. I mean, why would they want to share that
Yeah, because
information?
it's too socialist. Why would you want to protect everybody? It's not like it's your main business goal.
And there's in our model, capitalistic model, it doesn't allow for that type of thing. Hmm. Yes, steganography, that's what I was looking at. Here is the link to that.
I mean, I think they could still do things with like their heuristics and how they use the interface and various things like that. Could be the capitalistic point of view on it, but yeah, it's because of capitalism that they're not going to share. So
Mm, mm. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I just wanted to mention that. Oh, and the other thing I was following a little bit was this MRSA. Uh, uh, Johnny pointed out that one of her relatives died of that, and that's a antibiotic-resistant bacteria, um, MRSA. Um, and it looks like there's no there's a story coming out of, I think, Reuters, regarding that we're not reporting this, then reporting the deaths, and we're uh, uh, not there was a case.
California has a bill coming out that they're fighting Superbug, or they're
California does, and actually in a hospital here, they on all persons going to the emergency room, they swab them for MRSA specifically. So, or at least that's my understanding. So apparently the awareness is it depends upon the state where you're living, and but anyway, it's just incredible. Like there was this one case of the hospital that apparently, some patient had come in with that, and there was contamination in the natal ward, the neonatal ward, and it just swept through and killed all the children, and most of those children's birth certificates did not show that being the cause of death. And anyway, you can imagine what that was like for their parents, and for culpability.
it's not a law yet, but California is going to try to make a law where hospitals would be required to report superbug infections.
Yeah, look, it's where the money is. If you're not reporting those infections, I mean, we report statistics on like deaths of ladders. Okay, if we're doing that and there's being funds devoted for that, certainly this could happen here, and that should happen here, and at least
Death of ladders?
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Like
people falling off ladders or ladder breaking and causing people to be hurt or injured.
Death in relation to ladders, not the death of ladders.
No. If I said that wrong, I apologize.
This ladder's got the peg broken. It's got to put it down. Take it out back. Won't be climbing no more buildings with that one.
Anyway, I just hope that there is increased awareness. I think hospitals are unsafe, and this certainly didn't raise my confidence level in them. And if any of you out there have any relatives who die, and you're not really sure what the cause of the death was, you might look into that type of thing. It's I wouldn't go to a hospital unless you absolutely have to. Basically. I obviously seek medical assistance if you need it, but don't just hang out in a hospital. They're filth. They're filthy.
Yeah, so all you doctors and nurses and everyone like that, don't hang out at hospitals. Terrible recommendation.
Well, the thing
why
is,
we say everyone's opinion is of their own.
Yeah, well, the doctors and nurses, obviously, I think they're aware of hygiene, and they can wash and they won't be spreading. I'm talking about the public who
aren't aware of hygiene and can wash and such.
Well, no, they assume that the hospitals are,
and that the doctors couldn't just tell them.
They assume that the hospitals are clean. They need more they need better protocols.
I've never assumed a hospital's clean. Are you kidding me? Every time I walk into a hospital, it smells like death.
That's
Michael?
true.
Things smell like death. I'm on high alert.
That's true.
Michael.
I mean, how could you expect some place where very sick people go to be completely clean?
Yeah, that's like going to the waste treatment plant and being like, man, it really smells bad here.
I guess the point of the story was, though, that you're going to the hospital for a different reason and then ultimately dying of contamination in the,
I think it happens a lot. You go in there for a
broken leg and you die of MRSA.
It sounds like we don't need regulations tracking the deaths of superbugs. Then it sounds like we need more regulations on how hospitals handle contamination and things of that nature.
Well, then, yeah.
And I think probably most good hospitals do a fairly good job of cleaning the place up, but how clean can it be?
Well, like I said, the simple step that the hospital around here took of swabbing all the patients for that on admission is a solution as well, though, is it not?
They did what? I didn't see the article.
They swab all the patients. Oh no, that's not an article. That's what they do here.
Oh, okay.
And they swab the patients on admission to the emergency room, and regular admissions as well. But
and what are they testing for when they swab them?
specifically for that MRSA.
Okay.
The whatever mitosin resistant so whatever Aurelis, I don't know the exact name of it.
That bacteria.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, it's Staphylococcus aureus. It's
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't say it either.
It's a long, complicated name. I'm likely to mess up. I'm sure everyone else here will too.
Anyway, on to better news. This is something that caught my eye. There's a toolbox that's a grill. So it looks like a toolbox, but it's actually a grill.
Oh, I just found my new toolbox.
That's pretty dope. Pretty expensive.
Oh, so it's not functional as a toolbox at all. It's just a grill.
Negative.
Well, that depends. Are your tools a spatula and some tongs?
Yeah.
You could throw tools in there when you don't have coals in there. I mean, you just have to take all your tools out whenever you wanted to cook. So, and I'm sure all that grease and such would taste real good, burning into your meat or whatever you happen to be grilling, I guess.
Seasoned with WD-40.
Yeah. Man, this burger is out of this world. What is that? Oh, that's WD-40. Maybe a little 5W30. I'm not sure exactly.
Helps with the transition.
I used to go with 5W40, but then I found that it was a little bit too tart, so moved back down to 5W30.
Okay, well, where can we buy that, by the way?
I don't know. Find
At Blue Ribbon General Store. Blue Ribbon General Store, is that it?
That's not.
Yeah, $125.
I don't want one anymore.
It's 8 by 15 inch.
I can get an actual full size grill for that.
You can get like 5 of them.
Yeah.
If it's just a charcoal grill, man.
So
those are like $30.
The price is really the stopping point for you guys. You liked it at first, but then the price got you.
It's a nice idea. I'm
thinking,
as far as portable grills go, it looks pretty sturdy and nice, but I don't know for $125.
I think you could just make your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
toolbox grill like that.
I mean, it's 8 by 15, so it's pretty small.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And that cost for that small, I think, is probably the issue.
Well, other news, and Johnny may know something about this since she went on cruise this past year. Apparently, there's a big pickup. They don't have a lot of tracking because none of the places really track this. But there's a big pickup of people who are retiring on cruise lines. So they found that the cost of retiring to a cruise versus retiring to a retirement home actually ends up being about the same. And I don't know about you, but if I had to choose between living on a cruise liner and living in an old folks home, I'd probably choose the cruise liner myself as well.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about this to somebody already.
Possibly. Some people use it as a second home. So instead of going out and buying a vacation home, they spend their winters traveling around.
Did you get a bulk discount?
Unsure. I know well, that was one of the things on the cruise liners is they don't really want people living there because you end up in a situation where you're carrying around a person, they're probably not going to drink a lot, probably not going to go out and party a lot, they're probably not going to do a lot of the offshore adventures, which those are the three places that cruise lines really make their extra money on.
Right.
So it's kind of like having somebody in a casino that doesn't drink or gamble. They're just taking up space.
Well,
They don't want those people in there. So
Yeah.
they kind of don't, but at the same time, then they charge them for a room for the entire period. So,
quite a few people that we met on the cruise that I just went on, they gambled so much that the cruise line, like, they didn't gamble on that cruise, but on past cruises, they've gambled so much that Carnival actually gave them $1,000 and paid for their room and drinks and stuff, so they don't even have to pay for anything.
yeah, I mean, you could do it the Las Vegas route where you spend a lot of money in one casino and then keep coming back to that casino every year. It could work like that as well. Like I said, there's not a lot of data floating around for all of them, but I did find it interesting that there was a place called The World, and it just travels the globe, and it looks like it's made for private residences. But when we're talking about you're getting a place here, you're looking at 4 to 35 million or 1.65 million to 15 million for a room. So
That's a little bit out of most people's price range.
yeah. But again, if you've saved up for retirement and you're going to be spending your time in an old folks home that could cost theoretically about the same.
Or more, depending.
Yeah. The only downside of being on a cruise and elderly is, of course, the health risks. Cruises are required to have 24-hour medical staff on hand, but there's only so much you can do on the water. Like,
Yeah, and also you're on a boat.
Yeah, if you have
there
a
have been
major
some
medical
cases,
emergency,
there have been cases of infections on boats in these isolated small communities, where one person gets sick and everybody gets sick. And, that would be not ideal, obviously, for those folks who are
well,
living
and I'm thinking too, though, as far as the cruise liners and their profit line's concerned, if all of a sudden I have to detour my trip to mainland, wherever we may be, that costs a lot of money to move that boat over that way and wait for them to get off the boat, get into the hospital, and then the boat go back to where it was supposed to go. So, like, that's time and money and everything that they have to deal with.
hmm I'm sorry, folks out there. My
expect.
camera is really bad today. My apologies.
Another interesting
also
one.
at some point they're most likely gonna go from a point where they're able to take care of themselves well to a point where they're not able to take care of them.
Your mic
That
just
could be
went.
Your mic just went out.
Is it
Yeah,
on
but you're
now?
fine. Yeah, you're fine now.
Okay. So that transition could be an issue for the cruise liner, but if the person, in the case where you were talking about someone purchasing, those large figures were for purchasing a room on a ship, right?
Yeah.
If you do something like that, say you take all of your retirement money and buy this room on a cruise ship, then you come to a point where you need more assistance than the cruise liner can give you, then you have no money to take care of yourself at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Which you could probably sell that, but that's another issue too.
Yeah. So that one that I quoted the prices from looks like it's on a cruise called The World that does have 165 private residents and activities and all that stuff like you would regularly expect. But it navigates the globe continuously. So it takes about 2.5 to 3 years to navigate the globe and stops in roughly 100 ports each year. So I mean, like if you've been spending your whole life working and not doing anything but saving for retirement, then you get to go see the world before you die.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've heard of the world before.
You've heard of the world before?
Yeah.
We live on it, but you know.
So did you guys see this?
Wait. One other last thing on that thing. They were actually, some of them were actually recommending the second home option because apparently you get tired of being waited on hand and foot and having everything done for you. Not quite sure about that part. Maybe I just haven't lived that life.
It was overwhelming. Like, you did not do anything. You left your plates and everything on the table. You didn't pick up anything in your room, and every day you would come back into your room and it would be spotless.
Sounds like heaven to me.
Like, okay,
I'm like,
so,
where's the problem here?
So in the room that we stayed in, it was me and my friend, and there was 2 beds in there, but I chose to sleep on the couch because the placement of the second bed was just way too close to the balcony. I didn't want to sleep on it. So I slept on the couch, but we moved the couch so that it was like right next to her bed so we could sleep in the same direction. But then I decided I wanted it up against the wall. So we moved it back against the wall, and so essentially we rotated it. So the drawers that are on the couch are now against the wall. And I was like, nobody will notice. So we left it like that, came back into our room, and it was switched. Like, they rotated it back.
Well, I mean, if you're living there, though, you're obviously going to come to know people, and you're going to be in the room when they come in at times and be like, hey, I'm staying here for the next couple months. Can you leave this stuff the way that I want it?
Oh,
They'll probably be fine with it.
Michael, which is the guy who cleaned our room, and it was super easy for me to remember because I could just be like, hey, Michael, do this. Michael, do that. And I felt right at work. But anyway, his name really was Michael. And we'd be like, okay, Michael, please don't touch this. And we'd come back and he touched it. I guess once you're in the routine of something,
it was just like the Michael you were used to.
Yeah, I'm like, Michael, don't touch it. And he's like, oh, I'll just touch it.
I am Groot.
Yeah.
Well, I would think that like you could leave notes, things like that around. There's all kinds of ways that you can do it, and I feel like it would be something workaroundable. Like, you don't
There's
have
no one in our chat, by the way, today.
Okay.
Michael, we blame you.
Yeah, it's Michael's fault.
I just noticed that upon logging in. And good morning, everyone.
Is there something wrong with the site or the server or anything?
Beavis is in our chat.
Oh, yeah, but he's
Well,
not actually there.
He has a client open.
Still, he's in our chat.
He's probably just trying to get out of the shower or something right now on his time zone.
Yeah,
Which is what I just did. That's
so early.
sorry. I didn't
He
realize.
doesn't wake up until like noon or something. He said.
All right, well, let me. I
He's got,
just
like, a
want
long
to chat.
Like
So,
his noon or our noon?
His noon.
how many? Oh, we had another joiner. So, how many times are they going to rename this Google Wi-Fi stuff or whatever? On Hub or what?
How many
Google
times are they going to
Wi-Fi?
rename Google Apps?
Yeah.
No joke.
Sick of that.
Anyway, so but
Yeah.
they are pushing a pretty cool. It's inexpensive, and they are pushing a pretty cool mesh networking feature of that device, and they're even selling it in 3-packs. So that apparently is happening today, where you can go into Walmart and Best Buy and places like that, and buy this. So, anywho.
Michael, the person in our chat's talking to you. Maybe they'll
What?
appreciate this more.
You'd think that was me, but look, my hands right here.
I wish it was.
There's a literal Bohemian Rhapsody video. It's pretty sweet, as you could imagine. So they took the words of Bohemian Rhapsody and made an actual music video that, like, basically a movie that goes along with the words of Bohemian Rhapsody. It was pretty
Huh. Interesting. How's everybody else doing this morning?
Bueno.
Pretty good.
Doing well.
Cool.
Somebody's telling me I should probably watch this later.
Yeah, it's a 5-minute video. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. Maybe it's an after the show thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Spotter tool. I was just gonna make a request. Actually, right after the show, I have to run my dog to the vet. I was gonna make a request. It's also kind of nice to have on the show ish. Is that I spoke to Glenn yesterday about maybe if I can get it done by the end of the week, alpha testing a D7.2 transplant to the D7X code platform. And I actually completed the full tool that we use today internally for various customer support things. And I have a copy of that I wanted a couple people to try out. I'm going to leave the other one as the current version currently. But, I want some other people to use the new one.
Awesome. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. But it's like everything's working great, and I'm like that means I'm also super stoked about finishing the D7X and transplanting that to it, because it should only take a few days, I think. But it'd be neat anyway. Sorry to break your news there. I just had to get that out before I forgot, and then I'm gonna jet right after. The dog's got like fleas and stuff, and she's all scratchy.
I said that's fine. That's good news. It looks like our chat person has been reviewing our old videos, and they think they figured out your address, Michael. They
You're
wanted
kidding.
to
A visit?
Yeah, you can feel free to visit. Go knock on his door. Don't worry about the dogs; they won't bite.
Gosh, this is awesome. Someone, a researcher. Can we get I don't know if it should, I don't really want it on the show flat out his address. I know he doesn't rather, but if you want to PM it to one of us or something, I would love to tell you if you're right, or something. Understand we may have to tell you that you're wrong, although you would still get a prize. Don't be confused. You can't just say, hey, you're right.
I'm not happy about this.
I'm not happy about a lot of things that happened in the last couple of days, as I understand. Recent developments. Yeah. All right. Well, what else is going on? Oh, while we wait on his.
Well, I got a really weird Russian video. This person built a 1,000,000-volt generator at their home.
Oh.
And
is that on Instructables?
I'm not sure.
I like Instructables.
So it's really weird though, because it's all in Russian, and like he starts off in like this aluminum foil wrapped suit or something. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. So yeah.
I still need a generator. I can't afford one right now. Big storms.
A 1,000,000-volt generator? I don't think.
Well, no. I mean, I would scale it down a little bit.
It is pretty cool though. If you kind of skim through the video, there's a point where they put one of the old-timey Nokia cell phones and put the electricity through that, and it like starts shooting out the sides and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Dude looks like something from Lost in Space, that old show.
Lost in, oh yeah. Yeah. That's
Danger, Will Robinson.
It's really weird.
It's all in was that Russian? He PM'd Michael. PM us. PM one of us. He's gonna. Oh, you did PM me.
Did he get it right?
Well,
No.
why didn't you just say no? I mean, what? Why didn't you just say no?
He's got it close to right, it sounds like. What's he off? Is he off entire cities? Is he off streets? Is he off numbers?
He's off on the number.
How do we know it's a he?
Or she is off on the number. And there is what I would describe as a misspelling of the street name.
But she'd probably still be able to find it. Like if you type in that to Google, does it come up with your address basically? Google Maps.
Brantley, is that you? I just have to ask.
Yeah.
I figured it.
I was just testing to see if the chat on the site was working, and it was.
Because I'm like, that looks awful right to me.
4 minutes ago, Johnny said
I
it's
wasn't sure about
clear
the house number when he said, but I was like, yeah, I think that's.
Johnny said 4 minutes ago, said, it's clear that it's you. I'm not going to say anything.
I figured it probably was when but.
I figured it was one of you.
You could tell he wouldn't even mute when he was typing.
I'm sitting there
Lands
typing.
on the enter.
And we've had some good ones on Michael and.
We even have pictures of his house on one of our green screens at a time. So if you did get that close in Google Maps, you could easily search around
Up and down the street.
Oh boy. Guys, come on.
And with the
Freaking
GPS
out.
You're
coordinates,
going to give Michael another
that
condition.
close.
You do know I have surgery in just a couple of days, right, guys?
What does that have to
Gonna
do
have
with
an
price?
aneurysm prior to the surgery. It's not gonna be good for me.
Hey, so you'll fit right in at the hospital.
Yeah, where I'll subsequently get MRSA and drop dead. Oh, this is.
Hey, that's not our fault.
If you get MRSA, it's not going to be our fault.
Actually, I'm not having the surgery in a hospital. So I might be protected from that.
Well, that sounds way safer.
He told me it's going to be in a
Backstreet
back
Team.
alley.
Yeah. What was that invoice we got behind the hotel?
Yeah.
What if our customer listens? Horrible.
We didn't say the whole thing. But anyway, so Transformers newest movie has another trailer out if you'd like to watch that.
There's another Transformers movie?
Yeah, there's man, they're gonna make a Transformers movie out of every single episode that they ever made of Transformers. They ain't gonna give up on that. That's like a huge ball of money pit.
Yeah. Is the cast decent this time around?
I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer yet, and I haven't looked into what this one's gonna be about much. So Like I kind of agree with Nick that they are pretty much all the same. It's just
There's not, yeah.
Well, there's apparently a portion of it that's in the past. I see knights on horses and archers.
Oh, some more time travel? I thought they got over that with the Age of Extinction stuff. Was that really time travel?
I think they're just taking a look back in time. What were we talking about?
the new Transformers
Transformers,
movie.
the trailer.
I'd rather.
Oh yeah. Not only
Jinx
are
will be
they
a Pepsi.
all the same, but it's I never could like differentiate between the different Transformers. They all look the same, and you can't see what they're doing. And the transforming is just like a bunch of crap on the screen. Yeah. But that's just me.
Have you,
Maybe.
Brantley, have you seen this or heard about this invisible reCAPTCHA thing?
Yeah, I talked about it yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
I think it'll be nice. It doesn't require user interaction.
I know, I'm just worried,
Although
but that's what I'm worried about.
Having my computer say that it's not a bot is kind of interesting. Like CAPTCHAs came about so that you could prove that a human was behind the machine, and now they're going to say that they're going to have invisible CAPTCHAs, which don't require human interaction. So it's just a machine saying I'm a machine now? I don't get it. But, I mean, they've done pretty well with the CAPTCHA stuff so far, so they can only make it better, I guess. I thought this was pretty interesting, though. So we've been talking a lot about Facebook and fake news and AI and searching things and all that stuff. Well, finally, Facebook is falling back to good old trusty, just ask people to tell you if it's bad. So when you see a post on Facebook that tells you to go put boiling water on your car to de-ice your windshield, you can come back in and say, hey, this was not true. Owe me a windshield.
That's, yeah. People do that.
Yes, people do that. Like those posts circulate every winter.
So if there was a post saying jump off a bridge, would a million people jump off a bridge?
Probably.
I guess it can't. It has to be a little less obvious.
Yeah, probably.
Go to these coordinates, close your eyes, and then take 15 paces north. You know, I mean, what?
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Oh gosh, why do I still believe in the goodness of humanity? I don't understand.
Really?
Hey, you were talking about stenography earlier.
Yeah, it's not exactly how you pronounce it, but yeah.
So apparently there's a new exploit kit that hides Malvertising code in image pixels using.
Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, steganography.
Only Internet Explorer users are targeted. The kit relies on flash flaws to infect the user. It's pretty interesting. Nick, do you remember that Look at Me virus?
Look at me.
Yeah, we found a virus on a computer that was an image, and it infected every system that we tried to look at that data on.
Back at the old store we worked at.
Yeah.
Oh.
I still have a hard drive that says "Look at Me" virus on it, and I assume it has that thing on there.
I remember asking you about that a while back too, and you were telling me you still had it. But yes, continue, please. What?
So yeah, we had found a virus that it took advantage of how Windows Explorer opened image files, and it used it to execute an infection, basically. So just browsing to that folder and looking at that image in Windows Explorer infected your computer. And we could never track it down. That's why I just kept the hard drive, because we could never figure out what image or what was. And we got upset that we had to wipe 2 tech bench systems already from trying to fix this. And we said, all right, we're formatting this. And they're going to have to lose their data, because their data is what's infecting everything. So it was really weird. We could never figure it out. I still have that hard drive, though. I'll have to see if I can find it and power it up.
I was just wondering if you had a point to that conversation.
No. Well, I mean, it's similar to what
I'm sure we can figure it out now. I mean,
What?
the knowledge. now.
It's similar to what that exploit kit does. Similar, but that one targets Internet Explorer and Flash, but
Mhm.
one that targeted Windows Explorer, and I bet that Windows Explorer has been updated to where it doesn't do that now. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember something about that being fixed, but was that a decade? I mean, that was decades ago.
That's not plural. It's like 1 decade ago at
A
most.
decade ago? Okay. A decade ago, maybe. All right. It was a long
Years.
time ago. It was a long time ago.
Anyway.
I thought, did you
decade and a half ago, probably.
did you see this one, Brantley?
What?
There's, I guess you want maybe a video.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was about to post about the
Oh yeah, and the video. to it.
internet-connected toys accused of spying on kids.
So they're sending the information to a defense contractor?
That's cool.
That's cool. It sounds like this is a real thing, though. I mean, I don't know. That's crazy.
This
Hi.
is the real thing. I was going to ask people like Proctor and Nick that have children, do y'all buy internet-connected things for your children?
To
And
spy on
if
them? I
so,
mean, the
what do
little
you,
children, right?
how do you?
iPad, Xbox.
Yeah, but not like
I-
this. Not
yeah,
like a
Not
toy.
like we don't have any toys like this yet.
Yeah, like Bluetooth dolls or internet-connected toys. Not like your main things, like your iPads and
I can't
Xbox.
even spy on my kid with the toys the internet connected toys that I bought, like the ones that, like the Kindle and all that other junk. It's like, in the Xbox. I can't even lock down parental controls on my kid on his stuff because separated. I mean, divorced parents. So he's over there. And like different accounts, and we don't cooperate. And all he's got to do is sign out of the account on the Xbox and sign into that one. And
Yeah, that makes it a lot more difficult. Yeah, I noticed Wyatt was signing into your account a lot.
not into he's signing out of my account.
Well, a lot of it, I thought he was signing in on yours and then asking you for the passcode so he could play.
He was doing that because I had the account he had at that time. He didn't have the account he had at his mom's house over here. He didn't have the password and all that.
Gotcha.
It's here now.
Is that video you posted related to the toy spying thing, Michael?
No, it's unrelated.
What?
It's unrelated.
Not the second one, not the flying bird, but the one right above that.
Oh yeah, that's a direct link to the a video
Okay.
of that.
While we're talking about toys, what is going on with these Hatchimals?
Excuse me. Hatchimal.
Yeah, they're like originally $50, but everybody's like selling them for $150, and it's a toy that hatches one time.
For what purpose?
I just searched for it, and the first thing that came back was a YouTube video of stupid hatchable dino egg.
Is that what you're referring to?
It's Hatchimal, not hatchable. But
But it's a dinosaur, right? It's not dinosaurs.
Are there
it's
multiple?
moles, I'm assuming,
Are there
right?
multiple hatching dinosaur eggs?
well, yeah, there's multiples of them. Like there's several, but they only hatch one time, and then they're done. Like they'll never hatch again.
On that video, it was even stupider. It was just the kid showing off the egg.
Bitter. Sorry, but like They're originally like less than $100, and everybody, because they can't keep them, so everybody's selling them for. Look at this.
Google asked me how satisfied I was with the results in my query just now. When did it start doing that?
I don't know.
I have choices from very satisfied to very dissatisfied.
So if you would like to
Cute little faces next to it.
Be dissatisfied. Go ahead.
profit off your purchases, you could stand in line forever and get one of these and resell it.
It's got a really cute animal inside, and its eyes light up green.
And it walks around, and it's like a Furby.
Oh, well, then there's why they keep it.
Yeah, their website says the consumer response to Hatchimals has been extraordinarily exceeding all expectations. Some of our first shipments have already sold out, while additional products will hit retail shelves in November. We anticipate this inventory will also sell out quickly. We have increased production, and whole new batch of Hatchimals will be ready to hatch in early 2017. And it goes on.
Yeah, Brantley,
And the rest.
that video that you posted is definitely not a Hatchimal.
Yeah, okay. So it's not Hatchimal, which is what I thought it was. Hatchimal, yeah. So this, yeah.
It
it's
is
a-
Hatchimal.
Yeah,
No,
it is
it's-
Hatchimal. Apparently, there is something
there's
called
something
Hatchimal.
called
Hatchimals need you
Hatchimal.
to hatch and bring them to life.
And
The
and
website,
they're
I'm
not
sorry,
worth
it's
much.
playing. It's playing. Shoot.
Are you trying to hatch a mole?
The second video I posted was.
Yeah, the second video.
So how do they come originally? They're just an egg?
Yeah,
and it hatches?
Yeah, it's an egg, and then like it starts glowing, and that's when the kid gets super excited, like, oh, yay, it's hatching.
And then they have that one little experience, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then they've got this.
Does it die
Dinosaur-
afterwards? Does
No.
it?
It's
If my kids were asking
Could you
for
make
this,
it?
I'd give them a dozen eggs. Be like, one of them will hatch. Keep them.
Oh,
And you don't know what it's going to look like until it hatches, right?
right.
Right.
So
But-
it's a pretty cool idea.
What if it's ugly?
Commercially speaking.
What if it comes out ugly?
Well,
Well,
I mean,
I guess you throw it in the garbage.
you kind of know what it looks like because each egg color only has two choices. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I would like the one with the spiral antennae.
Well, I hear they're sold out, so.
They are, but you know, you could buy it for like $300.
So do they put these things in rooms with kids and they just see what happens?
Well,
Is that how it
they
works?
actually came out before.
I believe that would be called product testing, yeah.
They came out, and now all the kids are like, oh, I want one. I'm gonna show Hannah and Matthew and Wyatt.
I don't know how it works.
Oh, you
Do they,
better not.
do they just? Do they just,
I'm
do
not
they just
buying
spam advertising out? But do they actually do product testing, or do they just spam like advertising?
Yes, they
out
do
because
product
kids
testing,
sit and
Michael.
want it?
Jeez.
Show a lot of videos. Well, they get people
Like,
to
if
believe
you-
a lot of things that aren't, realistic.
And each of those people have done product testing. So
I don't know about that. The ones that believe in conspiracy theories, I don't know about that. But
they're building toy products for kids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Anyway, let's move on because looks like the Canadian government is asking citizens if they want backdoor encryption, if they want encryption backdoors. So the UK has already done this and has set up so that there will be backdoors and encryption for everyone except for politicians. Interesting, UK. Interesting.
yeah, that was sneaky.
So you can't crack the politician stuff.
Yeah, they can actually
God
gather it,
forbid we
but
did that.
if they try to access it, they'll be denied.
God forbid you'd want to know what your lawmakers were doing.
Yeah, those are the people that we don't care about, right? So yeah, I love how they like etched out this little thing for themselves and said everybody else is a huge risk, like a terrorist couldn't become a politician. Anyway, Canada is asking and holding a vote or something to that effect, I would imagine. So they have a chance to fight back against it. You can remember here when they didn't ask, they just were going to go ahead and do it. America shut the whole internet down for a day because of it.
What?
The blackout day for CISPA or SOPA or whatever it was that was gonna.
It wasn't completely. It was more of a. It was more of a California thing, wasn't it?
Did I? How did I miss this?
The majority of the websites around the world stopped working on the day. That's an American thing because Amazon, Wikipedia, Google, Facebook.
I thought that was like Russia or China or something did that. I didn't think we did that. We did that?
Not the one that was this past weekend or like the past couple months. There was a.
There was one recently?
Well, the DDoS that took down the internet on the east coast of America.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, that was a different one. This was where
That didn't affect me.
took a stance against it. Here's a link to it. It was back in 2012. The SOPA blackout. Wikipedia, Reddit, Mozilla, Google, and many others protested proposed law by basically turning off their services for the entire day.
Why do I remember that?
January 18th.
Hear about that. I think I did hear about that.
Yeah, so that's what happens when they try to do it here. And that wasn't even for encryption stuff. That was for internet, what's it called? The level internet.
What? Neutrality? What?
Yeah, net neutrality. That's what that bill was about. It was going to break net neutrality. So they all said, nope. If you try to break net neutrality, then we're going to close up shop. And they were like, okay, we won't do it. Sorry. Other news. Backdoor was found in Sony surveillance cameras. So if you have any of those, please update now. They apparently do have a fix out for it. But yeah, that's pretty bad. I think it was like 120 different models. 80 models of IP and security cameras with a well-crafted HTTP request. They can turn on.
Oh, I wouldn't call that well-crafted. I'd call that miscrafted. But at any rate, I love how they always say that statement, well-crafted. I know what they mean, but.
Yeah, so there's a. If you're using those for security, though, you definitely want to update them.
This is not. So does this? Will this cut down the Mirai botnet exposure? Or
possibly. It seemed like that was a similar.
Yeah, I mean.
Similar vulnerability. So.
Yeah, so I hope that other manufacturers continue to do this, but until everyone does it universally across the board, it's going to be a problem for the Internet of Things. But this is a good sign. Sony's big, right?
That may be why they're having to do that.
Yeah.
And the fact that Sony's big and then still had this vulnerability that they have
for this length of time, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Is kind of a like they went through 80 model revisions. Wow. And I was like, hey, this is still okay. Let's keep doing this.
Well, I don't think it was. It's not. I don't think somebody knew about it for that length of time. I think it was just brought to their attention. Nobody cared to test that thoroughly, previously. I don't think it's a conspiracy to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that it's that large of a corporation? They should be able to test things like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought this was interesting as well. Google Docs has done an update where it makes it easier to add MLA, APA, and Chicago-style citations to your works. Looks like it
That's great.
pulls it right in from web results, and then you pick which format you want to add it in, and it adds it for you. That was like one of the most aggravating things in doing research papers was citation stuff. So
Yeah, I tend to agree. That's a huge help. Now, stuff like that has been available in certain, college systems already, but obviously having it backed on, by Google and doing it the way that Google is doing it is probably a much better solution than those ad hoc ones that were developed across the nation. It's always, of course, been a feature of Word, though. You can do that.
not as easily as they made it in the Google Docs, it looks like, though. Like Word doesn't format it for you. Last time I wrote a research paper, at least it didn't.
Well, I think they've made some improvements in that. When I was using it in the past 3 years, it was not that big of a deal. It was still not perfect, I would say, and I welcome any improvement that Google can make, but it's not as it's not like they're inventing the wheel. They're just putting their in other words, they can maybe even find the citations for you. In other words, instead of providing them and just providing the information and formatting. In other words, right? That's what I'm getting out of what you're telling me. I didn't read the article, but
Well, I think they let
I mean, you have.
search for the page, and then you select it, and it citates it for you. So it formats it for you.
Citate.
Is that a word? Cites.
No.
I think
No.
it cites it for you.
Yeah, it's just cite.
But yeah, that's cool. I think that's an improvement for all the kids writing papers out there. Definitely, they want to do that. Why does my camera always stop focusing?
Because it sees you.
Like, whoa, that is way too high def. Bring it back a notch. So I thought this was interesting as well. Vinyl sales beat out music download sales in the UK.
Cool.
So there was $2.4 million pounds on vinyl, while downloads only took 2.1 million. And apparently it's on the rise, because last year there was only 1.2 million spent on records, while 4.4 million was spent on downloads. So it looks like vinyl's coming back.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you see record players in stores now. And
They've been that way forever.
Yeah,
I mean,
you just can't
how is it coming back from coming back from coming back from coming back? I mean, really?
Well, it's coming back because they spent 1.2 million last year, and they spent 2.4 million this year. So
I think in the last year it's grown a lot.
is a rise and
Oh,
increase.
yeah, well, okay, I see. I see what you're saying. Money!
Oh,
Gotcha.
I didn't
But
realize
why?
there was still this
It's
many
really
people.
shitty. It's really shitty technology. We have a, I mean, it's kind of cool for certain things, but I mean, not like
I think Perry would probably be one that would disagree with
nostalgia being like the number one.
you. Some people like the way it sounds. Some people
Yeah, I have a lot of
say it has
people
better
that
sound.
say that records sound much better than digital.
But that's part of the nostalgia.
I have two close friends
Because that's the way people heard it when they were.
Well, I have two close friends that didn't grow up with vinyl per se. They got introduced to it. I mean, I guess everybody's seen a record here or there, but I mean they weren't like overly exposed to it, I would say, and primarily their childhood, growing up in largely the 80s, would have probably exposed them to at least tapes or CDs more primarily than otherwise, and of course into the 90s.
He meant cassette tape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is.
cassette tapes. Sorry.
Johnny was saying that because she's too young to know what those are.
Don't forget the 8-track.
So
What
I
are
do
you
remember that
thinking of?
in my house in New York, by the way.
Yeah. Did you take?
I-
Did you? She went on the tour of Perry's Place, right? You saw
Yeah.
the 8-track tapes.
She
I
saw
knew
the
someone had
4-track.
I knew someone had an 8-track player in their car. I don't remember what kind of car it was, but I remember that it was there.
Really, I,
My grandfather has a 50s Jag that still has the original 8-track in it.
Nice.
outside of a classic car, yeah, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't
No, I
my
grew up.
dad
My
had a
mom.
Plymouth with one in it when I was little.
My mom had those big cabinets, and she had like she had two of them over time, and one got another. The big record player cabinets that were like not quite waist tall, I guess for me. Two and a
My
half
grandma has one of those big floor,
and like in the center, yeah, like a floor cabinet and like
and the
long,
center opens up.
like yeah, like 6 foot long,
Yeah,
and maybe like 2 foot, 2.5 foot deep. And the center opens up, for your records and 8 tracks and all that stuff. And then the cabinet below that was the under the center slid back for your record storage and all that mess. And then the two, like 2/3 of it essentially on either end were speakers. And that's why records sounded better to me. I grew up listening to that and like those speakers and like the one that sounded really good, like only one worked, but it had like a tube amplifier in it,
Yeah.
from back in the day. And only one of those speakers worked, but man, you could hear it when I blasted that thing. You could hear it up to Proctor's house, just about lived up the road. And you could just about, I mean, and it had RCA, the left, right, RCA input things, and I forget what they're actually called, but for the audio, and I hooked up the CD player to it, and man, that thing did rock. I missed that. Our other one really sucked, but record sounded good like that too.
Yeah. Well,
Although
there
they sound
is.
like crap on the one we got Jade, in my opinion.
It definitely has a different sound. I think we can agree on that. So maybe some people prefer that.
But people usually talk about like the faint scratchiness, and like there's not like a very clear definition. To me, there's not like a very clear definition of your bass, and mid range is very limited. But I mean,
think that depends on your equipment.
quite easily. It probably does.
You want me to get an expert in here on this matter?
If you want to, I think. Can we have wait?
Or do you want to do a show on it
Yeah,
sometime?
I would say we'll do a show on it. I would say we'll
Let's do it. Perry can talk on it for hours.
Yeah, we'll be good with that.
I've been meaning to ask, can he fix I have my mom has an LED TV with that when it turns on it just has like I don't know, it's probably something weird and dumb with which I was figuring is probably easy fix for him, not like an LED related thing so much. It's like when you turn it on, it's like all different display patterns that rotate, like a self test or something, but that's all it does.
Yeah, he'd probably know what that means.
Could you ask him about that and get back with me later?
Yeah, sure. How big a TV is it?
48 inch.
48 inch?
Yeah.
Okay. Can she bring
That's
it into
the only
shop?
reason why I asked. Huh?
Can she bring it into the shop, or does she need it picked up?
She would need it picked up.
All right. Well, if you want, we'll go get it. I'll give her a call. We'll go get it tomorrow if she can be available.
Oh, wow. That would be awesome. I was going to say I could bring it in a couple of weeks when I go into town, but.
Yeah, we can go pick it up.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, ask him if that's doable. Why are we talking about this in the show? I'm sorry.
yeah, well, it's a little bit after the show end time, but I had one more article to share if that's okay.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, so there's a very detailed article on the internet usage in the country and how it breaks down on speed and offerings as well. It had a little bit of data on how many providers are offering and what the service levels and speed levels they're offering. And so if you depending upon what figures you look at, you could paint different sorts of pictures. But if you look at the entirety of the data, it does create an incredibly detailed picture of what's going on in the U.S. as far as internet access. I I thought it was enlightening. You guys should look at it. It looks like there are still roughly 25 million Americans who can't get anything higher than 25 megs per second. 16.6 million that can't get anything higher than 10, and almost 5.8 million people that have less than 3 megabits a second for an internet connection this day and age in late, obviously, almost 2017.
Those are all DSL customers.
And those are primarily DSL customers and satellite customers, and it goes to talk about that a little bit. But this is very new data. This is data covering up to December 2015. So I'm sorry, no, I thought it was said 2016. Did it not? I thought they had 2016 figures, but it's fairly recent data. It's within obviously the past year. So I just thought it'd be good to look at, especially those numbers of providers offering the various speed levels and the information on the satellite stuff, and how the progression has been since over a period of time, which is kind of interesting to see if there's been progress in certain areas. Like the DSL progress has been abysmal, and then cable seems to have the best progress rating. Fiber is starts out relatively high, but has the same relative outlook there, and satellite's actually getting worse for people. So if you're a satellite internet user, I really feel bad for you based upon the data I'm seeing here. So
cool. Well, last two links of the day then are going to be WestWorld just finished their first season, which was amazing this past Sunday, but apparently they're not coming back until 2018. And they quote in there. They quote in there that Game of Thrones has set the standard for cinematic TV shows, and they have no idea how they churn them out year by year. So WestWorld is going to take an extra year to do the second season. But from what I understand, they're supposed to be good for 5 seasons of WestWorld. So we may have
5 seasons would mean 10 years of WestWorld, basically.
Yep.
Dang. I have forever to
watched it yet.
A decade, wow.
And apparently, if you've already completed the first season and you want more, if you go to the website, they have a few answers waiting for you, it says. But probably don't go there before you finish
I
this.
just clicked it.
You can't watch the rest of the show then.
Whatever, the only thing I read was the headline.
And now it's ruined.
No, it's not.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. Last fun link is if you have somebody that has everything and you don't know what to get them for the holidays, get them this, because I'm sure that they do not have this.
Wait, don't wrap up yet.
Okay.
HP Mike is typing.
Hold on. I'm going to see what he's saying.
I'll go ahead and explain what that link is. It's a leather-wrapped stone.
What? A leather-wrapped stone?
Yeah, so you can go purchase a stone that's wrapped in leather.
It's the new pet rock.
I assume so. Nordstrom apparently thinks it's going to be a big seller at $85 for a rock wrapped in leather.
Better be a really nice leather pack there.
Why would that matter? It's for a rock. What are you going to use it for? You're going to put change in it?
Repurpose it. I don't know.
But for what?
It's useless, okay? It's useless.
That's what I'm saying. What else are you going to use that leather pouch for?
There's a car wreck right in front of my house.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hey, we can. Hey, now we know. Now you can find him. You just gotta look where that car wreck is.
Oh my God!
You just gave out your exact location.
It's actually right in front of my parents' house, but
it just happened.
I don't know.
Are people alive?
The doors are open and the cop is here, and he's not acting crazy. So
usually they don't.
Michael, that's going to bring so much publicity to your house
Okay,
now.
there's the guy got out of his car, so he's okay, and the passenger got out of the car. And
Hold
they
on, let me
look
call Channel 9 News
to be okay.
and tell them how to frame their shot.
Hey, HP Mike.
Yeah, no problem. You're late. I'll have the show posted after it gets processed today, so you can watch it again.
Wow.
All right, Michael,
Yes.
quit worrying about the wreck outside of your house. Let's wrap up the show.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it, so you're gonna have to stop it.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Again, we are here for providing support and answers to any questions about our products and services. Otherwise, hope you have a great rest of your week so far.